Betty.
Hi.
I'm Beth.
Hello.
I'm going to preface my story by saying that about 11:45 this morning, at a 1-year-old's birthday party, I started drinking beer. Followed by about 4:45 nap while watching Rock and Roll High School on my couch. I also want to give a little shout out to my friend Phil Johnson on the turntables, the giggling DJ. My story is a little sampling of things that happened in the year 2008 when I worked at a summer camp in Braddock, Pennsylvania. I worked with a group of 9-year-olds, urban kids, really cool kids. Give you a little overview. One kid, Tina, showed up once a week just to go on the field trips. She wore like this rock star get-up every time she showed up. She was just awesome. Loved Tina. She wore glasses, but one day she forgot them and she squinted at me all day and I thought she had this major attitude. I'm like, what's going on with Tina? My friend Megan's like, she just wears glasses and she forgot them today. All right, so Tina's cool. She's not trying anything with me. Another kid, Malcolm, had conduct disorder, which we didn't find out until the following year whenever he wasn't allowed at camp and was referred to as special camp. But he would yell, "I raised you! I am your father!" And I loved it so much. I mean, obviously, it was from his dad, but he liked to pass it on to all of us. He liked to share that little insult, that little putting you in your place, do anything that messes with Malcolm, and he raised you. He's your fucking father. Anyhow, this particular story that I really wanted to share, which is pretty short, is about a boy named Richard, named very, very fittingly. Richard was awesome. We did journaling every day, and Richard's journal entries were incredible. One day we did, like, what would be your dream home? And all these kids were like, oh, I'm going to live in a fucking mansion worth $1 million and blah, 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 15 pools. And Richard was like, you know, I just really want a normal house on a normal street, and I'm just going to, have a family, and it'll be nice. That was Richard. Richard was really cool. He was down to earth. He just liked things. He was a cool kid. And probably one of the kids who wanted a mansion and about 18,000 pools was a kid named Kwame. Kwame, he had good style. He always came in. He was looking good. And one particular day, well, let's see, there were 4 counselors in my room. We had about maybe 19 kids. Kwame comes back into the room, and his shirt is soaking wet. And he says, Miss Danielle, something weird just happened. So she's like, well, what happened? He's like, well, Richard was looking at my penis. So Richard comes back in, and apparently Kwame had these cool boxers on. And Richard just wanted to look at his boxers, but Kwame thought he was like looking at his stuff. So he freaked out, and while peeing, pulled his shirt down and continued to pee onto his shirt. That's the main story. But I'm going to end, because it's Rapture Saturday, with some anecdotes about what kids feel about Jesus. One girl, Cheyenne, who was legally deaf, but was somehow put into our camp, which had no facilities or people who were trained to deal with people who are legally deaf, and I kind of became her makeshift TSS, was walking through the hallway and saw a crucifix on the wall of Jesus and said, I love him. I love him. I another kid who's not in my room named, oh man, what was his name? And what was that kid who had a brother and he was always crying? Ray Sean and Malik were looking at another crucifix in the cafeteria during lunch.
Catholic school.
Yeah, it was a Catholic school. There were just crucifixes pinned up everywhere. But Rayshawn and Malik were looking at this crucifix and they were talking. And Rayshawn said, "They put